Hey everyone, welcome back to the recap of the Walking Dead universe. We are here every week during the show season to discuss the latest episode. Today we are covering The Walking Dead Dead City Season 2, Episode 2, Another Shitty Lesson. I am your host, Tamara, and I am glad you've joined us for today's episode. A special thank you for those joining us live tonight and taking time out of your evening to be here. Before we start, please follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. The links to find both me and Lisa are in the show notes. And if you like what you hear today, please hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss a single episode. Joining me is show co host Lisa. Welcome, Lisa.
Hey, Tamara. Hey, everyone. My name is Lisa Orban. I am an author. I am also the founder of Indies United Publishing House, and I love all things pop culture.
Alrighty, so before we get going, we would love your participation in this conversation. So if you are listening live on YouTube, hit us up in the comments section. If you're catching this on a replay, you can still comment on YouTube or Spotify, or even leave us a voicemail using the SpeakPipe link in the show notes. If you are new to the podcast, we are laid back in our review style, right, Lisa?
Absolutely, Tamara. This is a conversation, not a dissertation.
Right. No scene by scene breakdowns here. We jump around. And of course, huge spoiler alert for everything, every show in this world through yesterday's episode. If you're cool with that, this is the place for you. And we should just get to it. So, what did you think?
I think every once in a while, if you're going to bring an expert into the situation, perhaps you should listen to that expert.
Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it?
And I have noticed that people will bring, and not just in this show, but you bring in an expert, you ask them what they should do, they tell you what you should do, and then you don't do it.
Yeah.
And then bad things happen, and they wonder why they
Why they
happen.
happen? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Honestly, that happens all the time in, offices across the world.
Right,
You ask someone who is the most knowledgeable and they just ignore you. So what is
right.
the point?
Exactly. They brought her in, okay, because she has been there. She understands who the players are over there and what they're up against. And do they listen to her? No. Do they make things even harder for her than things could be?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm. Like that's
Um
the goal.
yeah, I mean, if their goal was to piss Maggie off and to get themselves killed, well,
Success.
congratulations, you succeeded.
Yeah.
If your goal was to survive this particular encounter, you have failed.
Right. Definitely failed. I mean, their leader died. So,
Which can
score.
only be better for everyone at this point.
Yeah, she's not that with it. She wasn't really, I don't know. She was just listening to the wrong people, I guess.
Well, it wasn't even just, and again, this is it even in real life, this bothers me. And watching it on TV, and I can even say I've seen this in
Mhm.
action, where again you bring in an expert or you bring in someone knowledgeable on a subject, and instead you decide, no, I've built this fantasy up in my head, and I'm going to go with that because reality bothers me. And
Mm.
that's pretty much what this leader did. She had put a story into her head that was going to be a cakewalk from beginning to end. And why she would have thought that, I don't know, based on information from unreliable sources, apparently, and desperation for fuel because they're running out.
Yeah.
But the reality of the situation is the people in New York are in a better position to defend themselves than those who are coming after them. For
Absolutely.
one, they know the terrain, they know what's going on, and there's more of them.
Yeah. Honestly, and plus it's really stupid, especially after Maggie said, "Hey, you guys, they sent a signal. They know we're coming. Maybe
Right,
we'll put everyone on the same big old boat and
right.
stand out like a sore thumb." Like, she tried to tell them, but no, no, no.
And then she's like, maybe we should send a smaller recon boat
Mhm.
so that they can see. And and here's the problem with the drafted army. You can't trust them. They're not there because they want to be. They're there because they have to be, which is
Right.
why they were trying to keep them all on one boat,
Yeah.
because this is a drafted army.
Mhm.
And they're like, "Oh, why? So you can desert?" I'm just saying, if you want this to succeed, perhaps we should find out a little more information about what is going on.
Yeah. Maybe that. That's so simple. But
Right.
you
Stupid of them to put literally all of their eggs in one basket.
yeah. Yeah. The one uh officer lady was like, "Where you want us to leave our whole all our team here, the whole crew here?" Like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I
Uh,
mean, the title of this episode's funny. I guess these people learned a shitty lesson too.
oh yeah.
Everyone's learning shitty lessons in this episode.
Well, and so the governor, she's is she the governor of
I
that
guess
was
she's a
the island?
mayor. I think she goes by mayor, I think.
Okay, the leader of
Mhm.
New Babylon
Mhm.
is dead. Okay, I don't know who they left in charge of Babylon. Uh, but yeah, um, with that boat, I don't know about you, but I would have not gone forward to the island. I would have rowed back to land.
I know.
Personally, I would have rowed back to land. And there was more people who wanted to go back home than wanted to go to the islands. I don't know why they went to the island.
All I know is hopefully that Major Navarez is not in charge. I do not trust her as far as I could throw her, which isn't
Well,
very far.
well, and to be an effective leader, you can't be prickly and you
Mhm.
can't be temperamental. And she is both.
Mhm.
And she is very prideful.
Yeah, she is.
Um, Although I did kind of get a giggle early on in the episode when her and the colonel kind of butted heads together,
Mhm.
and she's like, "The rules are the rules," and he's just like, "Oh," and all I could think of is, "Dude, look back one season, and that was you because
Yes,
that
it
was
was.
him."
Look, that's so funny, like how the tables have turned.
Yeah, because at the when we go back to season one, and he's in pursuit of Negan, it was all these are the rules, and these are they're how we do things, and it's procedure, and it's whatever.
Mhm.
And then that his rules and everything got him smacked around a lot
Yeah, it did.
and put him in more danger than he honestly should have been in those situations.
Mhm.
So it's kind of funny to watch him roll his eyes at her when we all know from last season this is exactly who he was until he came back from the island.
Yeah. But, he's still not exactly pushing back really. It's like he's in this odd space where he's, like, trying to listen to Maggie, but also appease them.
Yeah.
So, he's not really pushing as hard as he should, I think, when it comes to certain things, you
Well,
know?
I'm also wondering because he does have a wife and kids, and I'm wondering if those are being held over his head,
They might be.
because we've established that everyone on this show is more than willing to use loved ones to get people to do what they want.
Yeah.
It seems to be a common theme.
Well, I mean, if nothing else, for self-preservation, like, I don't wanna go into a situation where I could be slaughtered because they know
Exactly.
I'm coming there.
Exactly. And with since they did have the boat, there's really no reason why they couldn't have gone back. They could have rowed the other way.
Yeah, they could've.
But, again, if they had done that, then there wouldn't have been much of a show.
Mm-mm.
So so they went forward like idiots.
They're so confident, and they're like, "It's fine." They hit something in the water, "No problem. We'll just keep going." And then look, there are cannons coming at us, dead body cannons coming at us. "Well,
Yeah.
no problem. We'll just keep coming."
Yeah.
Idiots.
Morons. Absolutely. I mean, I'm just letting you know, if I was in this situation, and if I had that boat, that rowboat,
Mhm.
we would have gone back, and I would have pushed overboard anyone who said otherwise. letting you know, okay?
Mhm. I
And
get
I
it.
would have felt confident in my right decision.
I think that would have been a right decision, honestly. Like, if you're not with it, forget it.
Right. Oh, you want to go to the island? By all means, get back on the other boat.
Mhm.
You know,
Right. I mean, and
because
while this is all going on, at first, Maggie and Herschel are tied up in the below deck.
yeah,
They're trying to escape. And oh my gosh, so I have to say, Herschel is the most annoying kid on the planet.
is he?
He
Is he?
is. He's pretty close. I mean, he's pretty damn close. And I'm like, "What kind of child did you raise, Maggie?" I don't know, because I understand we knew he was gonna follow, right? We knew he
Right.
was. And yet he doesn't really understand the stakes of things still.
When he should.
Yeah, he's all confused and down on himself like, "I messed it up. I don't have time to give you a pep talk. Get your ish together
Yeah,
and let's get out of these handcuffs. Like, what is happening? Have a breakdown later.
right.
You're not 10."
True. And he should have known that. I mean, maybe not being handcuffed by their own people was a possibility, but I mean, honestly, after meeting them, it really shouldn't have been shocking.
Mhm.
It's not like from his very first encounter with this group of, you know, whatever you want to call them at this point. God knows it's not an army. Um, since their first encounter with them, oh, we're going to string this person up and hang them because, that's the kind of people we are.
Exactly.
So it is not like people are with them or following them because they want to. It's because they have forced this,
Mhm.
which is why they don't want to, again, split their group up or do any of the same safe things to get to that island, because by breaking up the group, there's more possibility of people slipping out
Right.
because nobody wants to be there.
Yeah, they're like, "People will desert if we separate. Let them separate. They'll run off."
Right.
And that's the risk you run, I guess. I don't honestly, I'm not sure if they would. If they were in Manhattan and they saw all the crazy that was going on, I'm not sure they would desert. They probably would just go back with the New Babylon people, because that's got to be better than staying with the Dama lady.
Yeah.
Sorry, they're not going to stay there.
And now she is, well, crazy, an effective leader. You know,
Oh my gosh, she is absolutely. And honestly, the irony of it to me is that I feel like this is exactly the kind of person that the old Negan would have loved to work with. He would have loved to be on the same side as her.
hmm
She's so demented.
oh yeah, she would have been in the other guy's position, the older guy, the Croatian,
Yeah, the Croat guy.
the Croat.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Um, because I mean, he did that with Alpha.
Yeah.
So if this had been the old Negan, he would have been sitting there on her right side
Yeah. He
rather
got
than.
rid of the Croat and he would have been up there with her.
Oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
absolutely. Um,
Yeah, she looked a little crazy. She looked
oh
like
yeah,
she got some screws missing up there.
and I mean, she's so
Mhm.
congenial. She's so not necessarily soft spoken, but she's not flighty. She's not excitable. She's cruel, but it's tempered.
Right. It's like, she's well, at least Negan knows the look on his face the
Yeah.
entire time.
Oh
It's
yeah, he
like
knows.
he knew she was gonna do something, but what? And then he kinda just knew, "Oh god, this guy, this poor guy," and, it was a dead giveaway when he started getting a lot of screen time.
hmm
"You about to die, sir."
Oh yeah, terribly sorry.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was as soon as she brought him in, I was going back and forth. Is she going to kill him, or is she going to sever like the
His
tendons so he
fingers.
can't play?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I was really
Ye
going back and forth on that one.
Really? I just
Well,
thought she'd kill him, but I didn't know she'd make him play first.
if you think about it, for someone who is as he is.
Mhm.
The he is an expert in his field
Mhm.
and is a true musician. I don't know why I couldn't say that. Um, Death would honestly probably be preferable to never being able to play the instrument again.
Right, but I don't think she was really caring about torturing him because she would have done that if she wanted to torture him. She just wanted to piss off Negan.
Right. Well, she would have put Negan in his place.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's why she just killed him because like you said, there's other ways to make a person like him feel like,
Yeah.
miserable and want to die. But there's no point when she's just trying to get to Negan. So,
Right.
and also being a friend to him is no good thing. You always
Right.
get a target on your back.
Right.
I don't know.
So
He's just
I
trying to be nice.
I know. I felt so bad for him.
Mhm.
And he was a decent guy. You know. Um, and we do know that even when you fall in when people fall into these groups, it's not necessarily that they are going to something that they align with. It's
Mhm.
sometimes it's just geography.
Yeah.
And I think this guy was just it was just geography.
Mhm.
So what do you do?
I know. I mean, he was like helping them with their little, craft project.
Hmm.
He was just around. Like he just seemed to like take to him and he was just there. He could have went somewhere else, I guess, and not helped him, but
I think he was told to keep an eye on Negan
yeah, he probably was.
because he was Negan's jailer.
Mhm.
So it would make sense because it's not like they had anyone else down there.
But so I'm wondering, so about that, do you think like Negan just went back down to that cell?
Yeah.
Like, okay, because I'm like, it didn't seem like he was a prisoner anymore.
No, because the one
Yeah.
he even said, I was sent down here for turn down service, but I guess it's
Yeah.
still occupied.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm like, "Oh, that's kind of funny, but not." But I don't know. I guess he just felt he was in his feelings, I guess.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't want to do what he's doing. He knows bad is going to happen. Um, and that jail cell is where he chose to be. He didn't have to be there this entire time. Negan chose to be there, and
Yeah, he
you know,
did.
and so I think you know you that's where he went because that's where he felt oddly safe, probably.
Mhm. Well, I think again, he's going to be walking this line this whole season. For example, like the old him kind of comes out
Yeah.
when Dama asks him, "What do you think of this plan?" Right? And
Hmm.
he ratchets up the plan. He's like, "Let me just add some more fuel to this fire."
Hmm.
And good plan. Yeah, let's do it. Okay. But then, when he sees the boat and he spies, Maggie and Herschel, he's like, "Oh, hold. Let's wait
Yeah.
a minute." So,
Well,
yeah.
even prior to that, when I think it was either the first or second explosion, you can see Negan starting to kind of smile.
Mhm.
Who doesn't like a good explosion, right?
Yeah.
Um, and you could see that he was kind of enjoying it until he saw Maggie and Herschel, and then his whole expression and demeanor changed.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh wait, they're people I know and feel some kind of loyalty to, right?"
Yep. Hmm.
And of course he saw Jenny down there too.
Yep.
So, yeah, he was having a good time. He was yucking it up, talking about how he fed people walker meat, having a good laugh.
Yeah. Well, he that was a story that was pulled out of him.
I know, but he still started to actually enjoy telling it.
Right. It's it's the beginning reluctance, and then you know, and as a storyteller, I understand that feeling. Even if you don't want to tell the story, once you start telling it, you get into the rhythm of it.
Mhm.
You know. Um, but yeah, when he was done and the Croat left, you could see that he was just like, ah,
Got him.
okay,
Yeah.
fine, you got me.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so you can see how Negan is just very much being he, he is desperately clinging to the person he has become as everyone is pushing him to be the person, you know, he was.
Yeah, just which honestly reinforces to me that his nature is not to be a good person. He's fighting that cuz he wants to be a good person. His wife and kid are coming, right? He doesn't
Hmm.
want to be bad. But
Yeah,
I think his nature is to be bad.
maybe. I mean,
It's so easy for him to just fall back in line. I feel like
yeah,
that's him. That's how he became Negan with the bat. That was him
right.
originally. No one persuaded him to do that.
No. Well, I mean, there was no one persuaded him, but there were circumstances.
There were,
Um,
but some people, they would get their revenge
yeah,
and it would just be normal.
yeah. Oh, I get it. I mean, like I said, it's Negan has as a character, we have seen him be a decent man with his wife,
Mhm.
become an absolute monster,
Mhm.
and then become a decent man again, or
Yeah.
or at least an acceptable one,
Mhm.
you
I would
know.
say acceptable.
And honestly, I think him spending that time in the jail cell was really him trying to make sure he never went back to the way he used to be. But of course, they had different plans for him, and that was not an option.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. He chose to stay in the jail cell because he knew that if he was out there doing what they want,
Hmm.
it would not end well. So
Right.
he chose, I'm just going to sit here in this cell and I don't know, bear it, hope they'll give up on me, forget about me. I don't know. I don't
Right.
know how long he was willing to sit there.
Apparently, forever. You
Yeah,
know.
something. But, they got his wife and child on the way. So
Hmm.
now he's like, okay, fine. I'll concede. I'll help. And now he's fighting the instinct to be
Hmm.
miserable, to be that awful person again.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
yeah, we're like I said, I'm pretty sure this whole season we're gonna watch Negan, you know, jump that jump rope
Hmm.
back and forth.
Which I wonder if it's going to get old. Like, is he going to actually pick a personality and stick to it regardless of, what could happen? Or is he going to constantly do that all season?
I think he's gonna be good whenever he can be, and
Mhm.
he's gonna be bad for survival.
Mm. See, to me, that sounds like someone who is good trying to hide as someone bad, and I just don't think that's who he is.
I don't know. I mean, the instinct to survive is pretty strong in people.
Yeah.
The fact that his wife and son are coming,
Yeah.
and if he's not there, he knows that things are going to be very bad for them.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, he has a lot of reasons to comply, and I don't think that necessarily makes him a bad person. I think that makes him a person in a bad situation.
Right. I agree with that. But I'm just saying because I personally, based on my thoughts on how his character has been, in the past, I to me it's different when an inherent good person is doing bad things for the sake, for the end game to be good. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? They're being um they're morally gray, right? They're
Right.
doing something that they think is bad for a good result.
Hmm.
I don't think that's him. I think he's bad, but he's trying to be good. So because he's bad by nature, it's easier for him to do the bad things and to be caught up in it again. So I get what you're saying. I just think of him as a slightly different character than that. I
Yeah.
don't think he is capable of being the angel in disguise. You know what
Oh
I'm
no, I
saying?
don't think he'll ever be an angel. I've
No.
never thought he was, but I would also. I mean, from that perspective, though, the fact that if he is, as you say, a bad person at heart, actually really trying to be a good person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in some ways, that's a little more noble than a good person not being. You know what I mean? It's because if he is inherently bad, that him trying this hard to do the right thing is actually harder than a
Honestly, yeah,
good
you're
person
right.
trying to do the right thing.
You're right. And that's why people love the bad boys, especially in books. Like you
Hmm.
guys know I read a lot of these books. But they love the bad guy who wants to be good for a
Hmm.
person, a family, a team. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
He's trying to hide that awful part from the people that he cares about. That's what
Hmm.
Negan is doing. It's exactly that.
Yeah, and in some ways, it's a little more impressive, because if his instincts are to be the terrible person, the fact that he is fighting it this hard under these circumstances where he has been given so many reasons on why it would just be easy to go back to who he was. Because if he just gave up, gave in, and did as they wanted, things would be easy for Negan.
They
He'd,
would.
he would have a very good, easy life in this apocalypse,
Well,
and
I
he's
feel
choosing not to.
the quickest way to get him back there is let something happen to those people. Let
Oh
something
yeah,
happen to Annie or
oh
the
yeah,
kid. Oh, he's back black. He's
yeah.
back in action. It doesn't matter.
And
So,
honestly, right now he is not a danger per se to
mm-mm.
the Dama.
No,
No,
he's not.
okay, because he is again trying, whether he is or not, he is at least desperately trying to be good
Mhm. He
in
is.
bad circumstances.
Mhm.
If he loses that tenuous reason on why he needs to be good, and that honestly is Maggie or Herschel, um, his wife, his kid, or the girl that he was taking care of. If anything bad happens to them, or God forbid anything bad happened to all of them, which in this show that won't happen, but if per se it did, there is not a power on earth that would keep the Dama safe from him.
Oh yeah, he would kill her without a doubt, and then he would continue to act horrible.
Yeah, I'm not saying he would stop at her.
Yeah.
I'm saying that it game on, you know.
Mhm.
And I hope she realizes that right now he's a caged tiger. But if she kills these people that are keeping him caged to her, you can't. He won't be something that she can control anymore.
So this woman, while she does come off as a little crazy, I think she's very smart.
Hmm.
So I do think that while she thinks she has control of Negan, she does understand that just a slight chance change in the circumstances and she will no longer be
Hmm.
able to control him. So I don't know. Hopefully she's not too confident
Yeah.
because and she's, crossing her T's and dotting her I's with stuff dealing with him. Otherwise, it's just going to be like, you're trying to die this season. That's it. You're dead.
Right. Because she's putting him up as the front man,
Yeah.
not the Croat. Not her. To these other rivaling gangs. She's setting Negan up to be their leader. So if he succeeds in that, and she loses her only leverage over him, yeah, she's in a lot of trouble.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I she seems to be a smart woman. I hope she realizes this. Um, but who knows?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I mean, ultimately, that would be kind of interesting if that's the way they decide to kill her off is to just have the people turn against her because Negan says so.
Hmm. Well, and now, did you watch the previews for next week?
No, I didn't.
Okay, because it seems that she has Herschel again.
Oh, God. Oh, geez. See that kid.
I know. Now it could be that she swept up a whole bunch of them, you know,
Hmm.
and she recognized him and went, "Ooh, more leverage on Negan," you know. So, but
More
yeah,
body parts to cut off.
yeah, um, she's like standing in her tower and she's looking out and she says, "Don't see New York um, as it was. Look at it as what it could become."
Mm.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, they're there now and they're trying to hide and stuff, but yeah, they probably I guess it won't be too long for them to be found and hunted down and dragged
Yeah,
back. But I'm sure Negan will get him out of there. I'm sure of it.
yeah. I mean, right now they have headed off into no man's land because no man returns. But
Mhm.
Maggie's a girl, so she might be okay.
Yeah, she might be. I'm sure she will be. Long as she's got her name on that first title screen, she's fine.
She's fine. Although I am kind of hoping that the sheriff there comes to a bad end.
Which one? Oh, Pearly? Her?
No, the
The
woman.
the lady? Oh, what's her? I think she's like a what was her title? I
I
feel
thought she
like
was
it's
sheriff.
oh no.
Anyway, yeah, I hope
Yeah,
she did make it. She made it across.
she
I thought
did.
she did.
She
Yeah.
did make it. Mhm.
And she's like, "Why are we listening to her?" Oh, I don't know. Maybe because she's been here before.
Because she's smarter than you. That's why. Shut up. Sit down and
Because you
shut up.
made every wrong decision there was to make as she screamed at you, "Don't do this."
I know. Which honestly says a lot to me because we've been saying that Maggie doesn't make the best choices.
I know.
But
It's really sad when Maggie's making the correct choices, man.
right, right,
But
for once.
right, well, partly because these are not personal decisions; these are
Yeah.
strategic decisions, and
Mhm.
she's always done better with strategic.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I hope that I'm hoping she doesn't make it to the end.
I
She
don't
doesn't
think she
deserve to.
will. I don't
She
think she
doesn't
will.
deserve it.
Yeah, she's gonna and I think she's, honestly, I think she's a villain-ish, you know? I
Yeah,
think she might not be the bad guy per se, but she's definitely not
she
good.
enjoys cruelty.
Yeah.
I mean, she'd fit right in there with the Dama and her people. I mean, come on, seriously.
She would fit, but she'd need a rule book to follow, so she'd have an excuse for her bad, behavior.
True. So she's lawful evil.
Mhm. Yeah. You know? She's out here, acting wild off of the rules.
Yeah, and you can see that. I mean, she does. She likes the rules because the rules give her permission to indulge in her bad behavior.
Mhm.
Um, there is no mercy in her. There's just power.
Yeah, she definitely wants the power, that's for sure.
Hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, she'll be gone. She might not make it to the finale. She would be it would be surprising to me if she did. I think Pearlie will make it though. I think Pearlie will make it through.
Hmm.
I think Jenny will make it through.
I wonder if we're going to see um, his wife and kid, or if they'll show up at the very end.
You know what? I was thinking about that. I feel like we might see them. Even if it's just for like 10 minutes in one episode. I
Yeah,
feel like they'll show up on screen. I think I hope they do.
because it also occurred to me that he only has her word to go by
If they're on the way there.
that she's even found them.
Mhm. Yeah, that could be a lie.
I mean, we don't. I mean, it is a lie that would serve her, and
Mhm.
he has no. It's not like he can verify. So,
Yeah.
and just because she knew where they were off to, doesn't mean that she has found them.
That's true. And honestly, I think again, she's got to know even if she's lying and she's just playing him that she's got to be very very careful. Very
Hmm.
careful because he'll flip out and kill her. He'll
Oh
flip
yeah,
out. It won't take much. He could overpower her very easily.
yeah. I
I'm
mean,
sure he's not just gonna sit there and let her try to cut his throat like she did with that, violinist.
right. And
So, yeah.
I think because I mean, there's a couple of different possibilities. There's a possibility that his wife and child are not alive.
Yeah, that's true as well, but. I don't know.
That maybe they didn't make it to Missouri, and she found out that somewhere along the way something bad happened, and they are no longer among the living. Um, I mean, and she could say, "Oh no, I'm keeping them over in Jersey. I don't know, whatever,
Mhm.
until I know that you are, you're faithful to me."
Mhm.
And until she can't string him along anymore, essentially,
Yeah.
or feels that he is firmly in her pocket.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, and but then again, I mean, they might just be right across the bay. We don't know,
Yeah, we don't.
and
So the
neither does he.
Dama, she also captured that historian guy.
Hmm.
That seemed weird to me. How like he just got there so fast. Did that seem odd?
Well, I mean, we know that they all made it to shore.
Yeah.
Well, not and I don't think he was with them. They said he washed up. I didn't see him with the boat people, so it's possible a few of the people from the boat made it to the shore, and he was one of them. Uh, and we know that they're hiding. So, and the historian doesn't exactly seem like a survivor type.
Honestly, I would never bring a historian on that kind of mission. Period.
Oh God, no.
That's so
The
stupid.
well, and the people from New Babylon seem rather grandiose in their estimates of themselves.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I can see someone that is that vain would want someone to record their greatness. You know
Well,
what I
wait till
mean?
we get back and I'll tell you all the greatness.
Right.
I don't know. That still seems silly. You should only
Yeah,
have
but
warriors, people who can fight with you. That's
oh,
it.
I know. But I mean, there have been other grandiose leaders in history that have done similar silly things of bringing the press along for whatever. It's not a great idea, but they do it.
They do it. Yeah.
Um, it partly because again, there are certain personalities that when they do things, they want the recognition. They want people to tell great tales about them. They don't. They're not doing a good thing for the right reason. They're doing what may be a good thing for personal benefit
Right.
that just
Mhm.
happens to align with helping other people.
Mhm.
And she seems very much that kind of a person, and Babylon seems very much that kind of a place.
Yeah, I think we could tell from the first season that that was not the place to be. Like something was off there, you
Right.
know. And
Yep.
they've continued to just show us that is in fact true.
Well,
Not a good
in the
place.
first season, didn't wasn't it? They're not allowed to drink either, are they?
I don't remember. I don't know.
Because
Maybe.
that one woman had the bar, and
Oh,
they were,
that's right.
yeah, and
Oh
they
my
said, "Oh,
goodness.
this is illegal because of," and it gave a whole bunch, but I think the alcohol was part of it.
Mhm.
So this is and even the name Babylon. I mean, this is a quasi-religious Puritan type culture, and they were just telling people, "Oh yeah, you are a part of this now. Enjoy."
Yeah,
Uh,
whether you want to be or not.
right? We indulge in violence, but not in alcohol. That is a step too far. You know
Oh my gosh. Right. We indulge in hanging people, but we will not drink the liquor.
exactly. You know, it's yeah. And
The
you can kind of see
hilarity.
that with you know, with that whole all the interactions beforehand that we kind of saw the little flashes of Babylon. This is a pretentious place,
Mhm.
and it's quite unfortunate that they won out on the culture awards.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree.
But
I
I
guess
suppose if you put up Nazis against hippies, who's going to win?
not the hippies.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that the Nazis are right. I'm just saying that you know.
Yeah, they're just more likely to win against hippies. So,
Exactly.
right.
So, I mean, I kind of get it, but I'm not saying I approve.
So do you think that then the New York City Alliance, I guess the groups led by the Dama, do you think they will beat New Babylon? Do you think they'll win?
Honestly, yes.
Mhm.
I don't know how big Babylon is.
Mhm.
Okay. Because again, it's not like they really give us population sizes, and we've never actually gotten a good look at New Babylon. Okay.
Right.
We've seen some signs. Um, there was some small takeaways here, that of a couple of people. But we really, I mean, this could be, I'm going to assume it's at least 1,000 people.
Okay. Mhm.
Um, but that also might be including their settlements. I don't know. No one does.
Right.
Maggie's settlement probably had what, 100 people, 200 people?
I don't know. We've never seen them all together.
Yeah.
We've just been seeing like little groups of people. So,
Yeah. See,
I
so
don't
it's
know.
really hard to say. Now, I do know that we've seen groups from the island. And we know that from last season that they filled a stadium.
Mhm.
And I don't think New Babylon has filled a stadium people.
I mean, there's at least a couple hundred people, at least.
Right. But if most of your troops are conscripted and don't want to be there, um, and let's face it, the New York, the Croatians people there, they're all for it.
They like it. They like the violence. They
They
like the
like
fighting.
they like the violence, they like the fighting, they like the disorder. Um,
I mean, hell, they go and watch walkers fight for fun.
right. So as a fighting group, they are probably much more dangerous to a certain extent. Um, I mean, I'm not saying that discipline isn't a great thing, but I also think they have the numbers. I think they have more numbers than the
Mhm.
Babylonians do.
Yeah, definitely. Because, okay, so they took all the troops with them on the boat, right?
Well, they took all the conscripted troops.
Yes. So I feel like, I don't know. And again, I'm just guessing because we don't really know how many there were. But
50.
it didn't seem, it was 50 because I'm like, it didn't even seem like there were 50 people.
Yeah, because someone said, mentioned that there was 50 conscripted troops.
Oh, well, I didn't even see what looked like 50 people on the screen. So I
Right,
don't know. I guess we just have to take them for what they say. It's in the script. So it
right.
must be right.
So my guess is, well, and if they said that they were taking a portion of each settlement, and they were going to take 20 from uh, uh, Maggie's group, I mean, it could be. I mean, the easiest numbers would be saying 10% of the population, so that would give Maggie 200. Um, if there was 50 of them all together, that's 500 people.
Yeah.
So we're
But
there
look,
were.
we already know if New Babylon was able to take control of all those small groups and make them be a part of New Babylon, right?
Mhm,
Basically force them. I feel like it wouldn't take much for the Damas people, all those different alliances of groups, to come over there and just acquire them as well because
exactly.
it wouldn't take much.
Right.
Like you said, they're easy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not really sure what the end game is here yet.
The end game is some people want to live in a fantasy world where they're just the, well, king shit of Turd Mountain, um, regardless of the circumstances, and
Mhm.
and get very angry when someone tells them otherwise, which Maggie tried to do.
Right,
She tried to tell them this is not a good idea. They There are more of them. This is a bad situation. This is not a good place to be, and they will fight to protect what they have.
right.
You don't want to poke the bear.
Mm-mm.
And New Babylon went, eh, poke poke.
Well,
Um,
they were planning for months, so they have to do it. They just have to.
well, yeah, planning for months.
Yeah.
And apparently they were not all that secretive about it because the Dama knew everything. She knew before Maggie did. You know,
She's got spies,
yeah,
and they shouldn't be surprised by that, honestly.
right. And Maggie even said, when you told the Croat where you were from, you put you put yourself on his radar. You put your whole community on his radar. They may not have ever paid attention to you before because honestly, you guys are small fish and you probably had nothing they wanted.
Right,
Great, you've got ethanol, but they have an unlimited supply of dead people.
right.
So, um,
So, yeah, until you put a target on your back.
put a
And
target.
now that they have the historian, I mean, I'm gonna assume that, as you say, you called her a governor, maybe she's governor, the governor and the colonel or whatever. I'm sure they've been telling the historian all kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, because they want to be grandiose and they want to sound big.
Yeah, and now that
Hmm.
he's seen that the Dama will just, slice someone's throat without thinking about it, he's
And he's
probably gonna
not
be talking.
this guy is not someone who's been portrayed as having a backbone.
No.
He threw up on the trip over,
Yeah.
and he seems fairly oblivious to his surroundings.
Mhm.
And he does not read the room.
No, he does not.
I think he's the only one that was shocked by the violinist's death.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
honestly, no one else was. We know Negan was not surprised. He was
no,
looking all sad and, like, "Dang, I know it's
and
gonna happen."
right, and the violinist probably very purposely chose that particular um, uh, yeah,
Song.
yeah, composition because
Yes.
he knew that this would be, and it was Bach, and it was the very last thing that he would play.
That's unfortunate. Although I kind of wonder if he thought maybe he wouldn't be killed. Uh, because she's all like, "It's not like your life depends on it." She's making these comments and then she's talking about, "Oh, that's the best that back then," and then she starts switching her singing a different tune talking about the past. She doesn't
Hmm.
like the past. I'm like, "Oh no. Oh no, sir." But I think maybe he thought he was going to live for a second there.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he was doing the prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Yeah,
Because what else can you do?
nothing. I mean, you dragged in there.
Right. And if you're pretty sure that you're gonna die and you have a love of music, you're gonna pick something that you love to be the last.
It's like musicians on the Titanic.
Yeah,
They're like, "We're all going to die, but let's get this last song out."
right.
Yeah.
I mean, what else? I mean, if he played beautifully, maybe there was a chance that she would let him live simply because she is supposed to be of some kind of woman of culture.
Yeah, she
Um,
likes art.
and she did acknowledge that there were very few true artists left in the world.
Yeah.
So, perhaps if he played flawlessly, it would be enough for him for his life to be spared. But not. No, because in her mind, she did the calculation that his death as an example to put Negan in his place was of more importance than letting him continue to play.
Exactly. Exactly that. Like she had a reason for that whole display and she got her point across, Negan screaming, "Oh no,"
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect that kind of reaction exactly, but I knew he would feel bad about it and I knew he didn't want him to be killed, but I just didn't expect him to like holler like that for someone he didn't know that well.
But he did.
Did he though? He knew stories about him. He heard him play. I mean, we can assume over time he's gotten to know him,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It just seemed
Well, even our first introduction to the two of them together,
yeah.
there was, at first, I thought he was a fellow inmate, just someone across the bars that he had, and then it kind of snapped into place that no, he's the jailer. So they obviously had a friendly relationship, and
Mhm.
it was casual and it was comfortable. Um, yeah, I mean, this is Negan has spent probably more time with this guy than he probably has with almost anyone else for a very long time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would make sense that he had a bond with him and and liked him very much.
Well, he
And
definitely liked him, right? He listens to this guy tell his stories and he doesn't interrupt.
yeah,
He likes him. That's clear, you know.
right,
They're friendly. If they're not friends exactly, they're friendly. I don't know
right.
how much friends you can become with the person who is watching you and
But
serving you up cockroaches and stuff, but
there's that. But there's also the fact that he knows that this guy is not personally responsible for him being there. And I think it helps that he knew that if at any point he said, "All right, I give up. She wins. I'll do what she wants," he would have been released. He was there because he chose to be there, and I
yeah,
think that makes a difference.
it might. I don't know. I'm not there. I don't know. We're gonna assume probably so. That's why he was so emotional. It must have made a difference.
Yeah, and I don't think his death is probably going to have the effect on Negan that she was hoping for, because it's certainly not going to make him more malleable.
I think it might I think it might temporarily because he understands that she actually will do harm to people he cares about, especially now that he sees Jenny and Herschel here.
Right,
I feel like temporarily it will make him more in line with her just because he knows this woman isn't playing any games and she will do it.
right. Oh, but you also know that he is now actively,
Right.
furiously thinking in his head,
How can
how,
I kill her?
yeah, how
Yeah,
can I do this while saving the
exactly.
people I love?
Right. So now he's having to go even deeper into the dark hole, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
He's going to have to perform more, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote, put it on more, really make her think that he is on her side
Yep.
while trying to be a double agent.
Yep.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how if he can pull it off.
I I don't want to say I have faith in Negan because I don't have faith in
Mhm.
Negan.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't think he will at this juncture. I don't believe they're going to turn Negan back into who he used to be. Um, I don't know where they're going to
Probably
have
not.
him land,
Yeah.
but I don't think that he will go full blown Glenn killing Negan.
No, I don't think they'll make him go that far back because then that will just negate all the work that they did between the two main characters last season.
Exactly.
I don't think they'll go that far. But he might be in a dark place for a while,
Mm-hmm.
trying to pull himself out of it, assuming that again, all his people that he cares about don't die.
Right. And again, we're
So,
pretty. I mean, Maggie will make it, but I don't think that will be enough to keep him out of the dark.
and I think Herschel will make it because Lord knows, these writers will make poor Maggie's character just lose her mind if that kid dies.
Oh, dude, if Herschel were to die,
Yeah,
there is no power on earth that could keep her from killing them. I'm pretty sure she would, even if she became a walker, would still have enough determination to go after the people who killed her son.
yeah,
You
I
know,
think she would.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Um, Maggie has such. Maggie can be so single minded in a pursuit of something that it actually makes her dangerous because
yeah,
she is not seeing any of the destruction. She is raining down on those around her in her
right.
single-minded pursuit.
And we've seen this in action in previous seasons.
Right. And she, so if Herschel were to die, oh, dude,
It's over.
it's over. We thought Negan was bad. Oh, baby. Um, bad Negan would have nothing on this woman. The Dama would have nothing
No,
on this woman. Uh,
honestly, I could see her actually killing Negan for shits and giggles after that, just
right.
because,
Um,
like, fuck all
she
of this.
I could see her setting New York
Mm,
City on fire and dancing as everyone, man, woman, and child, burned to death in agony.
Yeah. That's exactly why Herschel will make it through. He will not. They will not do that to Maggie's character. She's been working so hard on herself, trying to be more normal, right?
Hmm.
And not so angry. She's been
Right.
working really hard, and that would just throw a wrench into everything, and we'd be back at zero with these characters.
No, we have a Negan trying to be a good guy
Ugh.
and her being the bad guy.
Can you imagine Negan running from her as she stalks around trying to murder him? The hilarity.
You know, to quote Negan, shit just got real.
Yeah.
Oh, and he knows it. He has said that Maggie is a terrifying person, and there is a part of him, and I think that's because back even in the regular Walking Dead series when he talked about the widow, he didn't even call her by name for a long time, just the widow.
Right.
Um, it was said with respect,
Yeah. Because
and
she's vengeful and she will kill you.
right,
Yeah.
and she and he knows. I think he knows what Maggie is capable of, even if Maggie doesn't realize to the full extent of what Maggie is capable of. Um, because in a way, I think he sees a part of himself in her because it would be very easy for Maggie to become what Negan was.
Mm, I don't know if she
If
go that far. I don't know.
if
After she got her vengeance, I don't know if she'd continue on though.
if if Herschel died, there would be no solace on earth for her.
Hmm.
I mean, she has pined for Glenn and his death for
Years and years
14 years.
and years. Yeah.
All right. She has put her height, her life, her soul, her everything into keeping Herschel alive. And if he were to die, oh baby, game over.
Yeah, she really only put her anger and rage about, her husband on the back burner because of her son, because her son
Right.
was sick of it.
Exactly.
So that was the only thing that had her kind of trying to calm herself down.
Trying to be a good and decent person was to
Yeah.
be a good and decent person for her son.
Yep.
And yeah, if he were to die, and especially if it was a brutal death, um, yeah, it would be epically bad.
Yeah. He's safe from death, but he may not be safe from losing some more digits.
Right. Poor kid. You know,
He might be crippled in some way, but he'll still be alive.
right. If he had just stayed home,
Yeah.
he had I mean, both of those kids had the opportunity to not be where they are. They put themselves in this position. So I I kind of want to just kind of smack him around going, "You dumb."
You are dumb. Like, what are you even doing here? Like,
Right.
oh, so stupid. So I saw online some people were discussing the smoke signal, and some people were trying to say, could Herschel have set the smoke signal? I don't think so. That's not what I got from that scene.
I I don't think so.
Yeah, I
Um
don't think so either.
I mean, there would be uh, the only reason I could think of him doing it, if he did it, was thinking that it would dissuade them from going across the bay.
Mhm.
Um, but they were in powered vehicles. He was on a horse. I wonder what happened to the horse. Anyway, um, so he was following, but he was definitely not following at the same pace, and they were not. They had not been there that long.
Right.
So, I mean, for him to get there, there's no way that he could have gotten there before them, because he didn't know where they were going. He would have to follow,
Yeah,
and
he
then
tracked her. That's what he said.
yeah, um, and then he said he saw the smoke signal, so that's where he went. You
Mhm.
know, which would make sense if he wasn't quite sure where they were.
Mhm.
But to get together all those tires and then set them on fire, and I'm once tires start burning, they will burn. But I'm going to tell you right now, they're hard to set on fire.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not easy to set a tire on fire. It takes some prep and some work. Um, so yeah, I
Lisa,
think
have you set a tire on fire?
I don't want to talk about it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just saying
Uh-huh.
there is effort involved in this.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna take your word for it.
Kind of like a Christmas tree. They are not as easy to burn as people assume they are. And if you have set your house on fire because the tree caught on fire, I don't know what you did, but it was wrong.
Yeah.
It was so wrong. Um, because effort, it takes effort to
Mhm.
burn a Christmas tree. Um, but yeah, I mean, to get all those tires together and then prep them so that they will catch on fire, and they kind of have once they catch really fast, but they kind of have a slow kindling time.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think this was personally what I think it is the spy that they had at least one of the spies that they had embedded into New Babylon who did it.
That's what I thought too. I thought it was very interesting that people were speaking about, Herschel like he could. I don't think, and he did say, "Oh, I messed up. I screwed everything up." But I don't think he. And I don't mean to be mean to the little kid, but I don't think he's smart enough to even think to do something like that. He's so impulsive,
Right.
and he just is so, I don't know, he acts so young in some respects.
Hmm. Well, and I'm gonna my guess is this signal fire has been prepped and ready to go for a while,
Yeah.
and that when they sent their spy with over to New Babylon, whoever that spy is. And
Mhm.
honestly, that person could be with the group that quote unquote, one of the survivors. We don't know.
Yeah, they could be. They could be. Actually, they could have been killed as well. They could be dead.
Right. But my guess is whoever the spy was or spies, um, they were told that if, once they reached the shore, just to light the fire.
Mhm.
And that's what they did.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I don't know. It's a good start to the season, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, it is. So, yeah, I think the Dama is going to come to realize the mistake of putting Negan as the face of this coalition.
Yeah. She's going to die this season. No question. She's going to bite it either in the finale or right before the finale.
Yep. And I think how dare,
I
after
mean,
all that I
hell,
did for you.
Maggie might even take her out if she, cuts off one more digit from her son.
Yeah.
You she might do it herself.
I mean, it's not like she doesn't already have hate for this woman for
Yeah.
what she did um to Herschel.
Mhm.
And Herschel there is trauma there. He won't even talk about
I
when
know.
he she asked about the picture. Oh,
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe it's just someone I saw in a
Look,
billboard.
as soon as Maggie sees that woman, she's going to remember that photo and
Oh
she's going
yeah.
to flip out.
Oh yeah.
she's going
She is
to
absolutely
she's
going
going
to
to try
flip
to
out.
kill her probably without any words, just attack her.
Uh-huh. So, yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, it's not like Maggie has a whole lot of love in her.
No.
And what little she has is pretty much reserved for Herschel.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the fact that this woman hurt him will will not bode well for her survival.
It will not. No, it won't. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if she's the one who takes her out.
Right.
Mm.
As Negan watches and claps. Yay. You go, girl. You know,
He'll probably say, "Hey, Maggie, this one's all yours. Go for it, girlfriend. I'll wait here while you
as
take
he
care of it."
graciously bows out.
Yeah.
You know,
This is all you. This is all you right here. I have other people to kill. Go ahead.
right. You do you, man. Um
Mhm.
so yeah, like I said, I think it's going to be. I'm hoping that Herschel becomes less of a liability as this
Mhm.
season goes on. I really do, because I think Herschel could be a really great character. They don't need to make him the damsel in distress.
No. But they are using that. They are doing that with his character right now. But once they try to catch up with the rest of the world, well, he'll be aged a little bit more, and
Yeah,
suddenly he'll become like he has common sense, and he'll be older.
Mm-hmm.
and
Well,
better.
and if because they did have that alternate ending for The Walking Dead
Hmm.
season finale, and that was Herschel and RJ and Jude, Jude,
Oh,
Judith.
Judith. Like, who are you
Sorry, it
saying?
took me a second. Judith, because we haven't talked about those guys for a while, but they were all in a car and they were using a CB radio and they were heading towards Atlanta.
Hmm.
And they were, that's when they were looking for, their dad, was how the alternate ending went. So it does appear, even though they didn't use that ending, they are going to try and at some point at least have the kids have some kind of connection with each other.
You know what? I can honestly see them attempting another spinoff with them as older,
Yeah,
because they're all the actual kids playing these roles are aging by the day. So
right.
by the time they get around to it, they may actually be in their 20s.
Hmm.
But I
And
can see them trying it. Why not?
well, and that was kind of, I guess, why they had considered that particular ending,
Mhm.
because it was them. It because RJ was sending out the same message that Rick had sent
Yeah.
when he was, when he was on the radio talking to uh, sending out the message to what's his name.
Yeah.
Um, I'm tired and I can't remember all
It's
these people's
fine.
names.
We're both tired. Actually, we're past our hour
Yeah,
anyway.
but
Um,
anyway, so yeah, I don't know. I really do hope though that by the end of this season that Herschel is a little more of a competent human being,
oh, that would be great.
or at least confident.
Yeah.
Confident would be
Honestly,
good.
I wouldn't mind if they like gave us a little, at the end of the season, we jump forward a couple years as well. A time jump never hurt. They've got some time to make up.
Hmm.
So, maybe we could see him a little bit healed, a little bit older. I wouldn't hate it.
I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah. This
So,
poor kid. I'm
oh,
sure he's gonna have.
Morgan.
Oh, Morgan. Okay.
Yeah, the message that
Yeah.
Rick was set out was saying to sending out to Morgan. You know, so and
I need to rewatch some of that older stuff, but I'm not going to, not anytime soon.
yeah, well, this was the alternate ending,
Mhm.
and you can find it on YouTube.
Ah.
That's where I found it.
Mhm.
So
Okay. All right, I think we're done with today's episode. We kind of just chatted about
meandered there.
whatever. Yeah, we meandered around. It's fine.
Okay, yeah, we should end this. I mean, it was a good episode, and I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, me too. So far so good. I think it's actually so far it's better than last season, I think. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it might be.
Yeah. I don't know. At least I don't hate Negan this time, so we'll
So,
see.
that probably helps you quite a lot of that.
Yeah, it does. It does help that I don't hate the character. Okay, so that's it for today. It's been a fun time. Thanks for listening to this entire episode. We appreciate you for doing it. And of course, thank you to everyone who listened live. We didn't see comments today, but maybe next time. I know there's someone here. I can see you. So maybe you'll comment and talk with us next time.
Don't be
Don't forget,
shy.
huh?
Is it? Don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy. We don't bite. We're not walkers. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you're listening because we'll be back again next week and you'll want to get the notification when we go live. And also, if you enjoyed this discussion, please leave a 5-star rating wherever you are listening. That will really help other TWDU fans find the podcast. That's it. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.